So hey guys, welcome back to the new video. So today we'll solve gameplay analysis 4 problem, problem number 550. So what we have given is a activity table. That activity table has the following columns: player ID, device ID, event date, and gameplay. So player ID with the corresponding event date is a primary key. So combination of columns with the unique values for this. So, so player ID with event date will stand as a unique value. Okay. The table shows activity of players of some games. Okay, so it just shows the activity of some players of the some game. So each row is a record of a player who logged in and played a number of games, possibly zero, before logging out on some day using some device. Okay, so this just gives an illustration of a particular player, the corresponding device ID, on which event date he played and the games he played. Okay, and the number of games he played. Now you have to write a solution to report the fraction of players that logged in again on the day after they first logged in. Okay, so we just need to find out the fraction of players that logged in again on the day after they first logged in, rounded to two decimal places. In other words, you just need the count, the number of players that logged in for at least two consecutive days, starting from the first login day. Then divide the number by the total number of players. Okay, so this ratio or this fraction is nothing but it's like how many players have logged in for two consecutive days, starting from the first day. So if you consider player with a player ID 1, so he logged in for two consecutive. So first login day was 1 3, the second login day was 2 3. So from his first login day, he is logged consecutively. So this will be considered basically. Okay. Second player we don't have anything, so we have only one instance of the second player. For the third player, it's not a consecutive day because it's like the first date was 2 3 in the March, and then it is again in the 7th month basically. So we will not consider this record also. So only one player out of the three unique players basically logged in back day after the first day he had logged in basically. So 1 divided by 3, that is give you a fraction of 0.33. Okay. We just need to find out this fraction. So how we'll find out this? So we'll use a self join basically. In that basically will you one instance will recommend the first login day. It will give the player ID with their first login day basically. And that we will uh, join with the another instance basically that will give you the corresponding event date, and we'll check whether that event date and the first login date are the difference of one. If the difference is one, basically we'll count that and divide it by total number of unique players. So like how? So what we'll do is basically let me write out over here subquery that will select player ID, comma. So here we'll use minimum of that event date. So minimum of event date will give us first date of the corresponding player ID, first login date basically from activity table, and we'll group it by player ID. Okay, and this will represent as analyzes 10 basically. Okay, and we'll join this with activity table. Okay, your a dot or let's take temp dot player ID equals to a dot player ID. Okay, and in the select query, what we'll do is first of all we need to round this values to two decimal places. So will be as fraction. This column will represent as fraction. So here what we'll do is that basically we'll first of all sum, and we'll check, and inside the sum we'll check if your date diff. We'll use the date diff function to look at the date difference of a dot event date, comma, your first day login date, basically. That is equals to 1. Then give me the value of 1. Otherwise, give me the value of 0. Okay. And this we will divide by your count of distinct player ID we have. So let me first run this query, then I will explain what I've done. See if the output matches. So our query got accepted, our output matches with the expected output. Now let me give you the illustration of what we have done. So here, first of all, what we need, basically, we need to get the first login day of the player, and we have to check basically if he is logging consistently for consecutive days, basically, from the first login day. So if he logging consistently or consecutively for from first login day, then we will consider that player as a player who logged in consecutively, basically, and we will divide it by the total number of players we have. And that will give us the fraction that we need to find. Okay. So for that, basically, what we are using is that basically we are just using this table. We are creating a temporary table, basically, where we are selecting player ID with the minimum of event date. Minimum of event date will give us the first login date of the particular user. Basically. So that will be day one, basically, from the activity table, grouping it by player ID as a temp, basically. And that we will joining up with the activity table A on temp.player ID equal to player.player. Okay. Now, in the select query, what we are doing is basically, first of all, we are rounding out this whole values to two decimal because we want it in two decimal, fraction in two decimal, and then we are naming this table, naming this column as fraction basically. Inside that, what we are doing, we are using sum. Okay. So this sum will be such that it will check if we inside the sum we are using if date diff. Date diff will give you a date diff. Okay. So date difference between the two dates. So first of all, we are checking an event date basically. So this a table dot event date with the temp dot day one. So temp dot day one will be the first login date. If the corresponding event date with the first login date gives you the value of 1, it will give you the value of 1 because if the date difference basically between the two dates basically is equals to 1, that means the dates are consecutive basically. So it will return 1 basically if the event date and the corresponding day 1 date are consecutive basically. So it will return as 1 basically. Otherwise, it will return as 0. This will give you all the players who are logging consecutively, basically from the first login date. Okay, and that we will divide it by the distinct number of player ID we have, basically. That is distinct number of players we have. So this fraction will then rounded up to two decimal places. That will be written as a fraction column. This is what we are doing. I hope this is clear. If anything is not clear, please let me know in the comments. Basically, I will try to make a new video on that basically and explain you better. Yeah, thank you.